All right, today we're digging into the economic engine behind a project that's been making some serious waves, Jupiter's JUP token. We're going to deconstruct how it works, what its original purpose was, and, maybe most importantly, how it's already being completely reshaped.
So let's just kick things off with a number that should make your jaw drop. $580 million. That was the value of just one of their community airdrops. Right away, you know this isn't some small-time project. We're talking about an ecosystem that's been operating at a massive scale from day one.
So how on earth do you pull off a launch of that magnitude? Well, to really get it, we need to rewind the tape and look at the token's original design, its initial blueprint.
Back when Jupe launched in January 2024, the total supply was set at a cool 10 billion tokens. But the real story here is how they split the pie. You could see these huge chunks were set aside not just for the team, but directly for the community through airdrops and ecosystem support. That tells you their focus was on the users, right from the very start.
And if we drill down a little deeper, you get an even clearer picture. Look at this. Every single part of that 10 billion supply had a job to do. It was all earmarked for a specific purpose, from the launch pool and market making all the way down to community reserves. This thing was a meticulously planned economic map.
Okay, so we've seen the distribution, but what can you actually do with these tokens? I can tell you, it's a whole lot more than just something to trade. Let's get into its core purpose and the actual utility it gives to people who hold it.
And its absolute core, Jupe is a governance token. And what that really means is, if you hold Jupe, you get a direct say in where the Jupiter platform goes next. You can actually vote on huge decisions. We're talking platform upgrades, fee structures, new initiatives. It's literally about putting the power in the hands of the users. And here's the cool part. The system is built to reward you for actually getting involved, not just for sitting on your tokens. It's a simple cycle. You hold JUP, you use it to vote on proposals, and because you're helping govern the platform, you earn what they call active staking rewards. Pretty neat, right?
But it gets even better. The benefits go way beyond just voting. Holding Jupe unlocks some really tangible perks right on the platform. We're talking about real, practical utility, like getting discounts on your trading fees and gaining access to more advanced features, including their exclusive Jupiter Pro platform. Now we get to what is, for my money, the most fascinating part of this whole story. Jupiter's tokenomics aren't some static, set-it-and-forget-it kind of plan. No way. The team is actively and very publicly managing the token's economic model based on what the market and the community are saying. And we saw this in action when the co-founder, who goes by Meow, came out and publicly proposed some big changes. The whole point was to address community concerns about FTV and emissions, which is basically a fancy way of saying people were worried about the token's total long-term valuation being too high and too many new tokens hitting the market too fast. So let's just rewind for a second. Remember this number? 10 billion. That was the original total supply we started with. That was the foundation for the entire economic model. And then they did something huge. They didn't just tweak a few things here and there. They proposed to permanently remove or burn 3 billion JUP tokens. Just gone from existence. A massive, decisive move. And the result? Just like that, they slashed the total possible supply of JEP by 30%. That brought the new maximum all the way down to 7 billion tokens. This wasn't just a minor tweak. It was a fundamental shift in the token scarcity and its entire economic future.
On top of all that, they put this really clever fee reinvestment strategy into place. It's basically a self-reinforcing loop. Half of all the fees the platform generates get used to buy Jupe right off the open market, which can help support its price. The other half gets plowed directly back into growing the ecosystem, funding new projects, and making sure the platform keeps getting better.
Okay, we have covered a ton of ground here, from the initial blueprint all the way to these dynamic changes. So let's quickly boil it down. What are the most important things to remember about Jupiter's tokenomics strategy? So if you're going to sum it all up, Jupe's story really rests on 3 key pillars. First, that massive community-first distribution that put a ton of tokens right into the hands of users. Second, its focus on real utility through active, reward-based governance. And third, a super bold and flexible approach to managing their economy, which you can see in their willingness to literally burn 30% of the total supply.
And that kind of leaves us with a final thought to chew on. By combining this huge community-focused airdrop with active, ongoing economic adjustments, like a major token burn, Jupiter is giving us a really fascinating case study in how to design a token today. It really makes you wonder, is this dynamic responsive model going to be the new playbook for crypto projects in the future?